Man and twice a child,
Yeah.
so I'm in my second childhood now. Yes.
Tell me about your fasting, how you want to do the fasting.
Well, right now, this month of November, I began preparing myself for the fast. I start the fast on December 1st. So from November 1st, I cut out all dense foods, rich proteins and rich fats and starches. And I just eat only fresh food, fruits and vegetables, and mostly the ones that are high moisture. Lots of apples and grapes and mangoes. I found some mangoes yesterday in the market for the first time since I've been here. Uh, Persimmons, tangerines, just very high moisture fruits I've been consuming. The only fat I've taken is the coconut cream, the cream from the fresh coconut, mature coconut, and also avocado. But everything else is high moisture. So only fresh food I consume, nothing that's been dried or preserved or anything for this entire month of November for 30 days. Then I go for 77 days, as I would be 77 on July 24th. Normally I start the fast in December to bridge 76 into 77. So I would fast for 77 days, so 31 days in December, 31 days in January, that's 62, and then another 15 days in February. So February 15th was the last day of my fast. And I'm only drinking coconut water, fruit juice, and vegetable juice. So I follow what I call the daylight dining. So I only consume food between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. while the daylight is out. So in the a.m. from 6 a.m. to 12 noon, I drink 1 quart of coconut water and 1 quart of fruit juice. And then from 12 noon to 6 p.m., 1 quart of coconut water and 1 quart of vegetable juice, all freshly made. So for each day of the 77 days, I drink 1 gallon of liquid, electric moisture, which is H3O, structured water that comes directly from the plant. My belief is that our relationship with the universe is through the plant kingdom. So our water needs to be processed by the plant or structured by the plants, because water, when it comes from the sky as rainwater, that is perfect water. Ideally, that is distilled water, and that's what we should be drinking. But because of the pollution and everything else on the planet, we know now that once water hits the ground, it starts to pick up inorganic minerals. And of course, the impurities from the earth, all of the chemicals that's been the earth been bombarded with for over 60 years now. So all of these things, all of the mining, the petrochemical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, all of these, they've polluted all of our water sources. So I have seen just over my lifetime, coming from the fact that we can't drink any fresh water anywhere on the planet pretty much now at all. It all has to be filtered, ionized, what they call it, alkalinized, alkaline machine, distillers, everything. It has to be processed in somewhere. And what we're doing is removing the impurities, but also in processing the water, we destroy the life force, the vibration, the electrical current in the water, because we are electromagnetic beings, and our electrical force is the moisture, is the water. So we have 2 balancing forces on the planet, or that affect planetary life, and that's the gravitational pull of the earth, which keeps us anchored to planet Earth, as we are heavenly bodies just dangling off on planet Earth, but we're being magnetized by the gravitational pull of the Earth that keeps us earthbound. But then you have the electrical force, is the sunshine that is beaming onto the Earth constantly and electrifying the Earth, keeping the Earth alive, keeping life on the planet. Without sunshine, there's no life. So I feel that our primary nutrition or essential foods are critical: sunshine, alkaline water, living water, waters from the plant, because the plants are really the best processors. The plants process all the water on the planet, and it takes the inorganic minerals and turn them into an organic form. And the human body can only use organic minerals, cannot use any form of inorganic minerals. So our water has to come through a plant, and we're getting the electrical energy from the water, and the water is already being magnetized by the earth, by having penetrated the earth. And so now us, to reconnect with the universe, it has to be through the plants. Our relationship is through the plants. So if we're not consuming of the plants and creating that balance, because they want our carbon, the plant wants our carbon, and we want our clean oxygen that has been filtered by the plants. And of course, number 3 food, the first one is the sunshine, the second one is oxygen, and the third one is living water, organic water. So I feel that since my body has a limited capacity of how much water I can consume every day, I feel it's a waste of my body's capacity to only drink processed water, distilled water, well water,
Mineral water.
mineral water, because all they do is hydrate. The minerals in mineral water is inorganic. We cannot use it.
And they take away all the minerals.
All of it.
Yeah.
So the best minerals today are really coming from the sea. That's why we incorporate sea plants or seaweeds, sea vegetables, to get the trace minerals. And especially in this technological age, with all of the radiation from cell phones, cell phone towers, computers, televisions, everything, we're being bombarded with radiation constantly. And the best way to neutralize the effect of radiation is through the micro trace minerals that are coming from the sea, the iodine, and these really fine trace minerals that are no longer found in land-based plants, because the topsoil of the earth has been eroded pretty much into the bottom of the ocean. So we're getting foods that don't have the charge in it, the life charge in it. And then now we've come up with this executive way of farming that they call hydroponic farming. And all they're doing is taking seeds and pumping water into them, you know, but there's no minerals. There's nothing coming from the earth. They're just selling you water, packaged in cucumbers and lettuce that they pump it in. So it's very low minerals. But of course now what we want now, seeing what's going on, we want the microgreens. So instead of a big kale leaf, we want a micro kale leaf, you know, micro basil, fresh coriander, but the small little teeny one that has the stem cells, they're 40 times more nutritious than the big grown leaf. Everything has been diluted with water. They're just pumping water into the food and selling us water. So that's why for me, it's been 44 years now that I don't drink water. I don't drink ordinary water because it dilutes everything it comes in contact with. And it's a shame because we think we're so educated, which we are, but we've been educated in a way not to be able to defend our life. So why should I drink 8 glasses of water a day and dilute my life? So if water dilutes everything, why don't we think that water doesn't dilute us? So drinking 8 glasses of empty blank water a day just to hydrate is the waste of my body's capacity. I'd rather drink coconut water. Coconut water has electrolytes. It has more electrolytes than any food on the planet. It's the original sports drink. It has the perfect amount of sugar. It has all of the minerals in it that we need for essential life. So to drink coconut water that is electrifying my body with electrolytes, that electrical current. So why should I take foods that the water has been taken out? I should eat fresh wheatgrass juice, drink the fresh wheatgrass juice, rather than taking the wheat berry and drying it and pulverizing it and turning it into flour and making a big loaf of bread, making a cake, making something with dense flour, and it has no water. We are 70% water. Our food should be 70% water. But when you sprout the wheat berry and you have the wheatgrass, you're getting the perfect balance. You're getting wheatgrass juice, and wheatgrass juice has the same molecular structure as the human blood. It has an affinity to the blood, so it eradicates cancer. It eradicates a lot of medical issues. And it's so unfortunate. I really pray for doctors today, because I feel that doctors have been sold a malpractice education, because at least a good 60 or 70% of all of the medical conditions today are tied with food. They originate in our gut, in the intestinal system. And doctors know nothing about food. All their 30 plus years of being educated, they've never been taught anything about food. And we coming to them now with arthritis, diabetes, blindness, all kinds of medical issues that are caused by food, and they don't know what to do, so they're drug dealers. They're selling us pharmaceutical products so that we can get a relief and have a crutch so that we can continue eating more of the foods that are causing us harms. And it's the same thing they're doing with herbs. They're using herbs as a crutch so that you can manage, eating garbage. So herbs are just a panacea today. They're not the original way of how we've used herbs to live our life. Just to be able to take herbs and squeeze the juice out of the herbs. That's what we do. Even in Jamaica, growing up, I see grandmother would get the Cersei bush, the one that has the
Melons.
melon, right? And she take that bush and she get the river water and she pound it together and squeeze the juice out, and that's what we drink. But here comes the British and the whole tea culture and all of these things, and they're getting us to drink our bush tea, our bush, instead of with the water from the river, with just regular water with hot water, and extracting basically the tincture from the herb, but not the essence of the herb. And then now we've even gone so obscene, they're on coffee. Everybody is on coffee now. And to take coffee, roast a bean or a fruit. It's a fruit. We should be eating the pulp of the coffee, the red pulp. We should be juicing that. We want the electrical energy out of the coffee. But we let the pulp get discarded, and we roast the bean, and we mix it with water, and we drink this heavy coffee that just rips our body apart and is giving us a whole bunch of problems. But anyway, we're in the 21st century, and we need to come up to date. And this is what I am about here, sharing, the new way of approaching life through food, and not having to eat foods that have been weaponized.
Yeah, you see so much of diseases threatening the mankind, like diabetes or the cancer. Do you think by changing our food, we can reverse these diseases?
Absolutely. Because right now, if you look at the foods that are causing us to have these problems, most of these foods are a combination of animal flesh and starches, grains, beans, and deep roots, rice, potato, and big beans. The lentils are fine. The fine beans, those are fine. The fine grains, like the millet, the teff, the amaranth, the quinoa, those are fine, but the bigger grains like the wheat, the rye, the barley, the oats, there's so much starch, the corn. When you look into the facts of food, and you see that human beings have only been eating starch for the past 10,000 years, and we've been on the planet for over 1,000,000 years. We've been experimenting with starch, and we cannot adapt to eating it because we have to turn it into sugar, and it's almost pretty much impossible unless we're running like Usain Bolt and turning our body into a refinery to make sugar from starch. But most of us are sedentary today. So the bread and butter is just really strangling us. So anyway, I'm here to live my life on a certain level that one can see. The example of me at 76 years of age, I can climb that coconut tree out there that's over 50 feet tall. And I can jump from that tree down to the ground, 50 feet up, down to the ground, and my hips are not going to be broken. I won't need a hip replacement because my hip is not filled with starch. It's not calcified, and my body is not inflamed. I don't have inflammation from eating lots of salt and lots of fatty foods and lots of starchy food. So for me now, it's been over 30 years. I don't eat no starch at all. No pasta, no rice, no beans, none of those things whatsoever.
No cakes and breads.
No cakes, no bread, none of those things. I want electrical food. I want high moisture.
In the last 30 years, you did not have any disease?
I haven't had any disease in the last 50 years.
50 years.
At all. When I'm in an environment and people have flu, I don't have the flu at all.
Do you get jet lag?
I don't get jet lag. Number one, I don't eat up in the air. You cannot digest at that high altitude eating food up in the. That's the thing that causes jet lag, because that food is just sitting in
I think you say it is wrong to eat on the high altitude?
It is absolutely wrong. We cannot digest at all. It makes no sense. You see astronauts, they can't eat up there. You see the kind of stuff they send them with up there, but we cannot eat at those altitudes. We're not digested. So when I traveled from Panama to Amsterdam to Paris and here to India, it's about a 27-hour flight, three different planes, and I myself don't eat and don't drink, nothing whatsoever. Before I leave my destination, I drink a gallon of juice. So I go with a tank full of water that would last me for 27 hours, tank full of fresh juice. So I don't drink on the plane, I don't eat on the plane, and I just keep running to the bathroom to urinate, to empty my tank, so...
Dr. Harris, tell me about your Panama retreat. How one can reach and what are the treatments or the modification on food you will do for us?
Okay. Well, right now, for example, I have a couple of gentlemen on their way from Dubai to Panama. They're going to meet me there on the day that I land. And they're going to be at my center for 2 weeks. And one of the gentlemen, he has a brain, what they call it, a cyst.
Cyst or a tumor.
Yeah, a cyst on the brain. And this is something that is extremely dangerous. But when you look at the food and look at the causes of cysts, some cysts, like a brain cyst, could be something from birth. But the foods that we're eating today are aggravating it. They're feeding it. Because we're talking a situation where the circulatory system in the brain has been compromised. So toxins get hung up there, and especially we live such an upright life. Blood has to be pumped up to the brain. And, if the system is stagnant and sluggish, and it's a lot of heavy grease and, starches and things like that, it's going to be very difficult. So anyway, for the 2 weeks, basically, he's being isolated. Just like here at Brahma Kumaris, you come to a retreat center like this, and all you have is you see the plant food, you see the coconuts. All of your intake is fully guided and measured. So that's what we do at our place. So within those 2 weeks, these two gentlemen, they are going to be in a situation where they have no choice but only to consume the foods that we have there. And all of the fruits that we have on the property, all of the coconut water, this is going to be their primary source of intake. So within this period of time, what's more critical than anything else, what's more critical is what they're not going to eat. It's not what they're going to consume, it's what they're not going to eat. They're not going to be eating any more of the foods that have caused their problem, whether it's diabetes, whether it's cancer, whether it's hypertension, high blood pressure, you name it. They're not eating the foods that contributed to those situations. So that's the number one protocol of allowing the body to now heal itself. I believe that the human body is totally self-healing. I cannot heal anyone. You cannot be healed from any foods, from any medicine, any drugs, any form of treatment. The body has to heal itself. The body is self-healing. And we see that. Even up to today, we see some of the old traditional Ayurvedic systems, and I remember at one point in recent times, I think it was the Prime Minister of India, Morarji Desai, I think was his name, that even in, world public, forum, he has spoken about drinking his urine. Because they do urine therapy. It's an old Ayurvedic science and medicine of healing the body, because the body produces all of its own antibiotics. Any issue that the body has, it produces its antidote, but we generally urinate it out. We throw it away because it comes out in the urine. That's why when you go for medical exams and they take the urine analysis, they analyze your urine and they see what you have, what you're missing, what minerals, what vitamins, the state of your body through your urine. So you are actually releasing your medicine. So with urine therapy, I do know that I have done it myself. I did it for a period of 10 days, 1 year. We're talking about 1972.
So drinking your urine?
I drink my urine, but it's a scientific way to drink it. The urine, you divide it into 3 parts. Every time your urine flows, it divides into 3 parts. The first part, the initial third of the flow of your urine, that's where all of the acid is. That's where all of the toxins, if it comes out. That's why as a man, when you urinate and you can see it coming out, initially it comes out very dark, very rich, then it starts lightening up. So the first third is where the toxins are, where the venom is. The middle part of the urine is where the antibodies are. And the last third, it's pretty clear. It's now, the essence have come out. So you want to capture the middle part of your urine, that middle third of the urine. And that's what we drink during urine therapy. So I fasted on coconut water for 10 days and just kept recycling my urine. But the first and last third, I discard that, and the middle third is what I keep drinking. And I keep drinking more coconut water. I healed myself from warts, one that I had right in the back of my head, and I had one by my groin. All of that left in those 10 days. And I've seen magnificent healing taking place in many other people with that. But it's something that is practiced here in India, normally. As a
I'm glad to see you are wearing the IVU 2014.
Yes, I am a poster child for the IVU. I am, I am, they call the global ambassador for the IVU. So I'm always wearing my flag, my banner, and this is in celebration